present himself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure, and that Representative Al Green be censured with public reading of this resolution by the Speaker. The House has come to order. The House has come to order. What's it?
What does censure mean? It's when you slap somebody on the wrist for being a big meanie, basically. I don't think anything formal comes of it.
The House has come to order. Clear the well, please. Clear the well. The House has to continue its business. Just say the House is releasing.
I support it. Fuck them.
Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the House will stand in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
Based. Now, if they would have done this during Trump's joint address, it would have been even better. Okay, apparently Hasan is getting mad about something. Everyone online is getting dumber and more reactionary by the day, myself included. Not sure where this goes. Definitely not good. So do I want to watch? No, 42 minutes. Oh my God. I'll watch like 5 minutes of this video. But Bad Empanada is now attacking Hasan because that's what these guys do, obviously. I think we all said this was coming. There's probably an exact clip of me saying these guys are going to turn on themselves soon enough, and they always do. But we'll watch 5 minutes of this and see how Hasan Piker helps liberal Zionism.
For daring to continue to lay claim to...
Bad Empanada will copy strike you if you watch this. Watch out. Does he actually? Has he done that with people before? All right, we'll watch 1 minute of it then.
What's been taken from them, simply because their victimizers happen to be Jewish. The idea that any other country should specifically be run for the benefit of one single racial or ethnic group, what is known as an ethno-state, would normally...
Funny as well, because this guy gets censured, wouldn't be getting signaled out if other Dems did this. Oh, true.
...cause revulsion among many. But for Israel, this is framed entirely differently, as both justified and a necessity, something that is usually just totally unquestioned. And you'd expect that decades of brutal occupation of millions of people, which is so clear as day and obvious that even Israel's own allies have been forced to admit that it's an occupier, at least in part, would usually be talked about bluntly, matter-of-factly.
Is his YouTube video just a cut of him on his stream watching one of his other YouTube videos? Based?
Simply, without mincing words. And it would be normal to frame those who fight against this as being in the right. And yet those who fight back against Israel are actually instead denounced in the West, regardless of the actual circumstances. And even mild acknowledgement of what Israel does to its victims is commonly prefaced with a flurry of ritualistically repeated phrases, like denouncing anti-Semitism, affirming that the Israeli occupier state has a right to exist and a right to defend itself, and outright denouncing those who resist it. There's also more subtle ways in which this Jewish exceptionalism manifests. For example, the way the pro-Palestinian movement itself often feels obliged to seek approval from...
Okay, this is boring. Anyway, Hasan fans are... What's the lore on this guy again? He's just an unhinged lefty. He like mass doxes people, tries to get people killed online. He's just a crazy guy. Apparently lives in South America. Been banned from Twitter like 100 times. He's an insane, unhinged individual. But when Hasan wanted to attack me and Loner Bucks, he decided to start playing Bad Empanada videos on stream every day just to go after us because he loves it. Like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's also why Hasan was retweeting Nazi accounts and shit to attack me. But... Thoughts? Question mark from Hasan Piker's subreddit. Oh. He's trying to convince Ethan that Hasan is a Zionist so that Ethan will leave Hasan alone. Big brain moves from Savior Empanada. Oof. I don't consider this infighting. Bad Empanada makes some valid points. People need to watch the full video and not just go off the title. He was also extremely kind to Hasan. Well, for Bad Empanada standards. Haha. Oof. Uh-oh. Hasan getting critique from the left. Oh, no. I mean, Hasan is fully aware Bad Empanada doesn't agree with him fully. He's called him out multiple times in the past. I hate when the girlies fight. I also feel like Bad Empanada takes the most extreme form of activism, which only appeals to extremists. I saw the video and I agree with BE. We shouldn't have to always care about what Israelis think about Palestinians. It's just like you don't need a British person's thoughts about Indian freedom movement or white man's thoughts on the civil rights movement. But we do need a Turkish immigrant to the United States thoughts on any of these issues? Okay. Who is Armand Domalewski? Co-founder of Yimbys for Harris. Fuck this guy. Don't need it. Don't care. If this isn't how you fight Nazis, this isn't how you fight Israelis. Jesus Christ. Facts. Will say, I never cared for Hasan's insistence on separating the Israeli people from its government, when only 1.2% of them thought that too much force was being used in Gaza, and an even smaller percentage thought the genocide was wrong. Less than 1.2% thought that the genocide was wrong. What? Well, at least this guy here, 71 Updudes, by the way, thinks that every single Israeli, so it's not just Zionist, it's also Israeli too. So Israeli or Zionist, or why not just say Jews? Just go the distance. You can do it. Damn. Hasan subreddit. Bad Empanada was right here.
Great example of what to aim. Hasan often invokes like South Africa as a great example of what to aim for. South Africa is a shithole, and South Africa is specifically a shithole because the whites were totally coddled with a process that resulted in the end of apartheid. Nothing was meaningfully taken from them. There were no reparations, nothing. No return of land, nothing. No justice against the oppressors, nothing. And if you continue to enable this sort of thing, if you continue to spread and uphold Jewish exceptionalism, you're going to get a South Africa, and we don't want a South Africa. And this is ultimately another point they're going to need to come to terms with as well, because in any sort of remotely just and acceptable solution to the Palestinian question, you're going to need to understand that it's going to come at the cost of Israelis, because Israelis live at the cost of Palestinians. They stole Palestinian land.
He's right in principle, but not in terms of practical solutions. Oh, now Hasan's fan base is the fan base of practical solutions? Like the one-state solution? Nice. The only just way to end oppression on this scale is for the oppressors to give compensation to the oppressed. Reparations. I love Hasan and understand he's an important bridge, but Bad Empanada never misses. Bad Empanada is always right. Ooh, 0 updates. Whew. Hasan won't be watching the Bad Empanada video. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Bad Empanada make a good faith critique video on you? Yes, dude. I'm not going to watch that. Are you insane?
Uh-oh. Wait. So Hasan could watch every single Bad Empanada video on me and Lonerbox, but he won't watch a critique of himself? Interesting. That's kind of interesting, don't you think?
No, we have our disagreements. Who cares? I literally get ass blasted on a daily fucking basis by every Zionist institution in this fucking country. Ooh. Okay? Every single Zionist content creator. You got billionaires like fucking Elon Musk who are simultaneously Nazis and also dick riders of Israel going, oh, this is an interesting story. Yeah, someone should go after Twitch. And you dumb fucks want me to go and argue with Bad Empanada.
Ooh.
Okay, I don't care. I'm already eating it from every angle.
Oh, I thought he seeks out criticism. Didn't he say that? Oh, no, wait, it wasn't Wired. Fuck, what was it called? Fuck, what was the name of that? Oh, Complex, not Context.
Look straight into the camera for this. I'm gonna
This is very up close and personal.
Not the Riz voice.
Should I be making faces? I don't know. No. I literally do this for a living, but it's
right
still
up front.
always strange when you're like. That was certainly a defining moment for me where I thought, damn, I did this so casually, but people are paying attention to this. If you believe that democracy works in the level of governance, why don't you believe that we can implement democracy in the workplace, especially considering that adults spend 80% of their entire lives inside of these corporations, and these corporations are absolutely authoritarian in its structure. The criticism that was thrown in my face has been consistent throughout my career.
But
I'm an idiot, I'm a dumb bimbo, I don't know what I'm talking about. I've gotten numb to the criticism. As a matter of fact, I seek it out now because I make content out of it.
He says, At the end of the video, Bad Empanada does give Hasan an understandable steel man. BE says, Hasan isn't willing to take risk and will wait for others. Considering how many vocal bad faith enemies Hasan has, it makes sense he doesn't want more of that. I do find Bad Empanada refreshing because at the very minimum, he does speak in full sentences. Ooh, I wonder if Hasan is worried that he violated his free clout principle here because he gave clout to a smaller content creator. But in his mind, it was worth it to attack me in Lonerbox. I wonder if he's nervous now. Oh, shit. This is why I don't show content. This is why I don't collab with people that can't give me more clout. The best part about Bad Empanada is that he acts in good faith. From what I've seen, at least. Ooh, Bad Empanada pulling the fuck Hasan ripcord. LOL. Oh no. I was really disappointed by this, if I'm honest. I found Bad Empanada's video about Jewish exceptionalism incredibly compelling, and I think Hasan's coverage could stand to grow over time after good faith pushback. After watching the portion of the interview from the other day, it seemed that some of the guests were made uncomfortable by Hasan's interjection of the Israeli experience question. This kind of focusing on Israelis can cause real material harm. I agree. Good point, quirky mugger. I agree. Give Hasan some time. I think he's inundated at the moment, and Bad Empanada's a rep for giving some very harsh feedback to people. So I could see Hasan assume it was of the same flavor, even though it wasn't. Well, Hasan would know, right? Because he literally broadcasted a fuck ton of it, but you know. No one would be saying it's harsh to attack those who are both siding the Nazis and the Jews. So how is this different? Bad Empanada is 100% right, and Hasan is avoiding the video precisely because Bad Empanada is correct, and Hasan wouldn't be able to counter his arguments without just proving Bad Empanada right anyway. Also, Hasan has watched less meaningful shit from Bad Empanada. Uh-oh. So to say it's not important when Bad Empanada specifically said it's not about the online personalities, but is about Jewish exceptionalism and the damage promoting and defending it does is quite a bad faith dismissal on Hasan's part. Oh, up dudes for you, sir. Up dudes. Bad Empanada is right. More up dudes. Wait. Yes. Come on, Hasan. The rare occasion someone has valid critiques. The rare occasion. Oh, up dudes. Up dudes for you. I watched the video and Bad Empanada is pretty much correct about everything. Whoop, that must mean Hasan's wrong about something. Up dudes for you as well, Spotless. Good job. I think Hasan would do well, too. At the very least, have a live conversation with him. True. Good posts, guys. Apparently, JPEG Mafia was also doing a little bit of mean tweeting. Hasan Piker is not getting shot with you. Performative whites. Doesn't he know he's Arab / Turkish / brown / white / American / whatever he needs to be for whatever given argument? Performative whites more concerned with Luigi's sex tape and trying to make Panda Bear a thing again than anything real. More concerned with these two things than anything real. Gotcha. Okay. Performative liberal whites are the worst people on earth. They stand in front of shit, get nothing done, and then plug their shitty newsletter after. If you're a performative white liberal, please blank yourself, and I'm asking you out personally. Damn, Panda Bear is an artist. Oh, gotcha. Damn. They will always celebrate when white people, helping people of color, and not people of color helping themselves. Like all the people posting Hasan carrying pizza and shit. Performative. Damn. Look at the next awk tweet in that thread. JPEG Mafia and Hasan Abi collabed 3 years ago. Oof. Oof. Major oofs. Peggy sure does spew a lot of bullshit for being a Nazi sympathizer. Damn. The Kanye stuff and calling all leftists performative white liberals on his Kamala lib defense. Oh no. They're eating themselves alive.
Again, yes, I would.
Then do it. I mean, you know, again, the simplest answer, in my opinion, is most.
But what is going on? People have made that joke about Donald Trump. Why is he acting like people haven't made that joke about Donald Trump?
Which joke?
Like, obviously, after this fucking ban, God forbid, but like, what is this take?
The Rick Scott joke.
Like, does Asmongold think that no one was making he shouldn't have missed joke over and over again? Why does he come across like a fucking SJW here? I thought he wasn't. You can't, dog, you can't have a massive American flag in your rooftop room that you haven't cleaned in months and constantly talk about anime titties and shit and then also behave this much like a fucking SJW. What?
Most often the correct one. The reason.
The difference is, I don't think that my commentary is allowing extremism. I know that they will say that. I know that Asmongold will say that, partially because he's just fucking responding to shapes and colors, let's be real. But in this regard, the extremism that we're talking about is Republicans being hypocritical about Medicare fraud as they simultaneously advocate to literally take away $800 billion worth of Medicare from people who need it. I think that I am not the extremist here. I think that the Republican Party is the extremist here. Okay? That's crazy.
That's crazy.
At least he recognizes that we are ideologically on the opposite side here. But it is funny to hit it from a centrist angle and being like, yeah, I just think that extremist ideologies have no place. Okay? Here is an extremist ideology that I also think has no place on this platform.
Hold on. How many of these 1 minute videos before I get mentioned? I need to hear my name, please.
Cause Twitch to tighten up their policy. Extremist event will cause Twitch to tighten up their policies and remove content that both he and I do. And if he can't see that writing on the wall, I think that he should pay better attention.
Asmongold and I like that he's actively talking about like an ad.
How do we just...
Asmongold and I
like that he's actively talking about...
Asmongold.
So when I like this is like Riz voice Hasan and then commenting on his own video.
So Asmongold and
I like that when he's talking about it.
He's actively talking about...
Can't see that writing on the wall, I think that he should pay better attention.
Asmongold and I like that he's actively talking about like an adpocalypse, while also simultaneously egging on and hyping up a content creator that literally did the exact same thing. He like advocated for an adpocalypse. Ethan Klein genuinely advocated for an adpocalypse to happen on Twitch. He went so far as to say that Twitch was anti-Semitic. He engaged in vicious smears against this platform that both Asmongold and I are on. Okay? I don't think he cares that much about Ethan actively lying to create this situation that would harm every single content creator on this fucking platform. The reason why I say this is because he hyped that shit up. He hyped that shit up pretty aggressively.
Wow.
At what point do you get a restraining order? It doesn't work that way. We're public figures, chatter. Stop. Also, I'm not a baby, all right?
A restraining order?
I'm not Ethan Klein. I'm not gonna like cry about every single person. Like random commenters and try. Like, can you imagine me trying to actively dox like random former fans? Like, that's insane. Do you know how many YouTube videos that would have been made in this situation? The reason why he's saying the reason why he has to slant his manic, pathological obsession with me under the...
Who has a manic... Oh, he's talking about Ethan. Has a manic, pathological obsession. Jesus Christ.
Guise of like combating anti-Semitism is because he is nakedly and insanely obsessed.
He's obsessed, guys.
At what course, and this is not... I mean, if you've been in... Point to get a restraining order, it doesn't work in here for a long enough time. You've already seen this. Every time Asmongold makes a fucking YouTube video, we know immediately, not because I'm aware of when Asmongold uploads videos or whatever, but because immediately people come in here to be like, hey, terrorist supporter, it's time to fucking kill you. I can't wait to find you in person and murder you dead. You know, every single fucking time. Now, I don't even think Asmongold would agree with his chatters saying that they want to fucking murder me, okay? I would not agree with my chatters saying similar things. 100%. It's unacceptable. Of course, and this is...
And will cause Twitch to...
Jeez, rough life. Hasan's fighting on all fronts right now. Does he have any allies on Twitch? Oh, no.
out for being like a cloud chaser all the time, or like doing things for
Hold on. Let me just rest real quick. What?
cloud, whatever, right? He always says that, oh yeah, he's doing this for the numbers, right? He always says this shit. It's insane that he calls for the projecting it when it's like the biggest projection person I've ever seen in my entire life. Most people I collab with have less than 1,000 viewers. Brother, I used to hold these lobbies of Among Us with only nobodies. Most people I collab with are legitimately small or nobody streamers. Name me one streamer that Hasan collabs with that isn't a big streamer or the biggest flavor of the month, like Jason, a streamer. Name me one. Hey, good. Show me some. Good, show me one. Holy fuck. Out for being like a cloud chaser all the time, or like doing things for cloud, whatever, right? He always says that, oh yeah, he's doing this for the numbers, right? He always says this shit. It's insane that he calls for the projecting it when it's like the biggest projection person I've ever seen in my entire life. Most people I collab with have less than 1,000 viewers. Brother, I used to hold these lobbies of Among Us with only nobodies. Most people I collab with are legitimately small or nobody streamers.
You know what's kind of funny? Wait. Hopefully I'm wrong here. Maybe, and somebody can point out. Hasan has been a big streamer for 4 or 5 years. Is there a single other streamer that has come up through Hasan's stream? There's no way the answer to that is 0, right? Mike from PA, I'm pretty sure I spoke with Mike from PA on my stream more than Hasan's spoken to him. And he doesn't collaborate with him. Same thing with Denims. Hasan doesn't collaborate with Denims. Will Neff, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, Will Neff, maybe. You could say Will Neff, maybe. But besides Will Neff, I don't know why you're considering Frogan. Frogan hasn't even come up. And Frogan's not, Frogan doesn't go on his stream either. I don't know if a single other streamer besides Will Neff has come up through 5 years of Hasan streaming. That's insane. I wonder if there's any other streamer with that track record. Damn. Destiny, what do you think about the online politics space that's so toxic? Pretty much everyone in the space ends up fighting and falling out with their friends. We see it even on the right with all the Fuentes stuff. I think a lot of people are just oriented towards like making money and getting clout. And when those are like your first principles, then I think it's always going to result in conflict, right? Because that's what people care about the most. Okay, I think that's all we got on that meme drama. Real quick, why did this guy vote to censure Al Green?
Joining us now with more is Democratic Congressman Ami Bera from California. He actually voted in support of the censure. And Congressman, it is a pleasure to see you. I thank you for your time. You decided to vote support for this censure. Why?
I did. Al Green's a friend. I respect Al Green. Our caucus cannot be a distraction. I wish you guys were asking me about 70,000 VA workers getting laid off. I wish you guys were asking me about closing the Department of Education. That's what we should be talking about. We've got to keep the focus not on our caucus, but on what Donald Trump is actually doing.
What was the reason and what was the basis of your support for censure?
Like, we have a clear strategy on how to defeat Donald Trump. That is to make sure the American public understands what Donald Trump is doing how it is going to hurt their lives, how it is going to be inflationary, how it's not helping them. When we act as individuals, that draws attention away. That is exactly what Donald Trump wanted to do. Let's act as a team.
That's not what Donald Trump wanted to do. Donald Trump wanted to stand up there and give his whole rally campaign speech and repeat the same thing he repeats over and over and over again, by the way.
Let's win the elections in 2026. Let's make sure the American public knows the actions that he's taking and how it's hurting American families.
So you said that you're a friend of Representative Green. Have you talked to him? Have you spoken with him? Have you gotten an idea from him as to why he thinks that what he did was actually the correct action?
I mean, I've not been able to speak to him since he took the action. Again, I agree with drawing attention to the fact that Republicans want to dismantle Medicaid, take billions of dollars out of Medicaid to give tax cuts to the rich, to give tax cuts to corporations. But there's a better way to do this. There's a better way to draw attention to that. And that's not drawing attention to ourselves. That's making sure the public is focused on Donald Trump and his actions.
You know, Congressman, I keep thinking, is there, do you think, a need to differentiate the conversations and the decorum that should exist at the well of the House of Representatives? Because I'm just wondering, I mean, is it just that everything goes? And I think that by your vote today, maybe there should be some respect for decorum going forward, so that what happens this week in the Serbian parliament or what happens in other countries around the world is not something that, well, it progressed into that.
Decorum always matters. Civility always matters. How we speak to one another always matters. I don't appreciate what Marjorie Taylor Greene does, how she yells out at times. If I had been in Congress when Joe Wilson yelled, "You lied to President Obama," I would have voted to censure him as well. The American public needs to see their highest elected officials act in a civilized manner, and we're going to disagree on policy. We're going to debate vigorously, and we've got to win that election.
And Congressman, do me a favor, let's continue our conversation going forward, because it is true that you do have issues that you need to get out, and I look forward to having those conversations with you in the very near future.
Great. Thank you for having me on. Be well.
Thank you, sir.
Cringe.
Why don't Democrats more openly advocate for progressive agendas? If they embrace the far left as strongly as the GOP has embraced the far right, could they mobilize movement from the base?
No.
Oof. The far right, the Republicans did not embrace, to be clear, the Republicans did not embrace the far right. The Republicans were dragged kicking and screaming by the far right taking over the base, because a lot of conservatives just started to convert to that belief system. Progressives weren't able to get as many people on the left to agree with them, but a lot of voters on the right agreed with MAGA, and that's what happened.
No. No, I do. I think that parties win when they mobilize popular agendas that both their base is passionate about and can win over people who are more moderate or who don't pay as much attention to politics. And I think Republicans did that on immigration. Clearly, the most extreme parts of their immigration agenda resonated very well with their base, but also by talking about the chaos at the border, they got more moderate voters in the middle. For the Democrats, there are plenty of policies that I think we would describe as progressive that I think are very smart policies to advocate for. Higher minimum wage, expanded healthcare, right? Like, these are policies that both I think progressives get excited about, but also we know that more moderate voters.
Progressives don't get excited about expanded healthcare. It has to be Bernie Sanders, Medicare for all, or nothing. They don't give a fuck. They don't, like, a lot of them shit on the ACA even. Like,
get excited about.
Why don't Democrats...
Hold on. Rand Paul on tariffs. Uh-oh.
Why would we do that?
What were you most interested in hearing from? Joshua Kerry may have one of the most distinguished careers of anybody ever appointed to the FDA. I mean, here's a guy that's a liver surgeon, pancreas surgeon. The guy's been studying cancers, written half a dozen books. And the question I ask him is whether he's open-minded. He's written a book basically talking about how we shouldn't just sort of say the science is settled. We should always be questioning. That's what scientists do. And one of the things I remember from my career, and also he's about the same age, a little younger, was the idea that all the surgeons said you need a big incision to take the gallbladder out, and then who needs a small incision? It turns out every patient wanted a small incision because there's quicker recovery time and patients did better. So I think from reading the books that he's written and talking to him in person, I think he'll make a great head.
Do you think that's part of one of the issues with American health policy right now, is that everybody's just kind of decided this is how things are always going to go and they've always been?
Well, you see the way sort of science is reported in the media often. I don't blame the media, of course, but when you talk about COVID or you talk about vaccines, it's absolutely settled. Everybody must get a COVID vaccine. Well, it's a little more complicated than that. In Europe, they don't recommend a COVID vaccine under age 12. Why? Because there are some side effects for particularly males, teenagers, but also for female teenagers, and the risk of the disease is virtually zero for kids. And so it's this idea that we would think and have nuance to the way we think. The children might be different than a 65-year-old or a 75-year-old. And with climate science, it's all funded by the government. There's a consensus, and many of the networks will say, if you defy the consensus, we won't even let you on the air because you're so evil. And people need to be be more open-minded. We can't ever really, even Einstein said, I'm only one experiment away from being disproven. Show me that I'm wrong with evidence and I'll accept it as action. So I asked Dr. McGarry, if the data tells you one thing, but your preconceptions tell you something else, are you willing to go with the data? And like a good scientist, I think he is.
What are you hearing from Kentucky businesses now about the tariffs?
I have yet to have a business from Kentucky come to me and say they want tariffs. Bourbon industry thinks it'll be hard. Retaliatory tariffs will hurt them. Farmers think retaliatory tariffs will hurt them. Automobile industry thinks steel, aluminum tariffs will hurt them. Home builders think home prices will be higher with lumber, retaliatory tariffs on lumber from Canada. Steel tariffs, we get a lot of steel from Canada as well. Average price of cars going up $9,000, $10,000. You see immediately there was a retreat on cars because the stock market was going, oh my God, this is going to devastate the car industry. We have transporters, UPS, DHL in my state. All the people who are involved with this in my state, not one of them has come to me and said, please put tariffs on, it'll help us. Almost every industry in Kentucky has come to me and said, it will hurt our industry and push up prices of homes, cars. And so I'm going to continue to argue against tariffs. I hope they'll not go into place, and I hope they won't cause a recession. But already they're talking about exemptions because even people for them acknowledge that there are real problems with tariffs.
Jesus Christ, that audio.
About it. We took in tariffs from China, $600 billion. Nobody
This was just today, an hour ago, streamed.
else took in 10 cents from China. They never did. But when COVID came along, we had to focus on COVID. We did a great job. We got rid of that. We ended up handing over with a market
Did a great job on COVID. Okay, dude.
that was higher than it was previous to COVID coming in. But this is very much about companies and countries that have ripped off this country, our beloved USA, and they're not going to be ripping us off anymore. So, I think that has an impact on the market.
Sir, this is a slate of nominees that's been prepared by the Presidential Personnel Office. It includes a number of sub-cabinet level appointments, a number of your ambassadors that have been previously announced, and also, crucially, given the administration's concerted effort to focus on violent crime, it includes a number of U.S. attorneys in major cities that have real crime problems.
Okay. Some very good people, too.
Thank you, sir. And then we have a number of ceremonial proclamations that Lindsay Halligan is going to...
So two very special proclamations, the first of which is a proclamation that proclaims March 2025 as Women's History Month in honor of all the wonderful women in your administration, all the wonderful women in America, and in honor of everything you've done for women, and this administration has done for women in just, a month and a half? So.
Yeah, we've done a lot, and women have done a lot for us, right? This is an honor. We have a wonderful woman here, Maria Bartiromo.
Thank you so much.
Nice to have you, Maria.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thanks for all that you're doing for women.
Thank you. She's going to do an interview of me later. Maybe I shouldn't do this interview. I should be like Biden, not do any interviews. That's great. Women, we love you.
We love you too, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. So the second one is a proclamation proclaiming March 2025 as Irish American Heritage Month in honor of, to commemorate our amazing friendship between America and Ireland, and to
Who is this person here that's handing it?
just honor all of the Irish Americans. And I'm a little bit biased because I'm American and Irish, but
Remember Bartiromo? Is that who this is from Fox News?
Yeah, well, great people. Yeah, great people.
Wait, no, this is not.
And they voted for me in heavy numbers, so I like them even more. You have to like it. You're not supposed to, but you have to like that. So for the Irish American people proclamation. Okay, thanks, Lindsay.
President, your envoy Steve Witkoff told us a little while ago that if Hamas does not release hostages, that the U.S. and Israel could take some action. What does that mean in your eyes? Is that military action? Would you join strikes with
What are
Israel?
you going to find out?
She's probably just a staffer. Okay.
I had the honor of spending a lot of time yesterday with quite a few of the people that we got out, and I can't believe how badly treated they were, really badly treated. Stories that you wouldn't even believe. Some of it was documented, some of it was so bad you couldn't really, I don't think you could put it on.
Wow.
And it's a shame, and they said one thing, they have 59 hostages, of which many of them are killed. And they want to know if we could just continue. They said without us, look, Biden wasn't able to get anybody out. We came along and they started releasing. But we have 59 left, of which 24 are living. The rest are dead. And I put out a statement. It's sort of self-explanatory, I think. But
Okay.
somebody's going to have to get a lot rougher than they're getting.
Wow.
It's a shame. And those 24 that are living, because they were with them just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, depending on when they got out. But they said they're in very bad shape.
You spoke today with your cabinet members and Elon Musk.
I did.
What did you tell them in regards to Elon Musk and his authorities to carry out actions?
We had a great meeting. We had Elon and we had some of the representatives for the business reps. We also had most of the cabinet members, not all of them. It doesn't really pertain to all of them, but many of them. And I thought it was a really good meeting. It was about cutting because everybody knows the country's way out of control in terms
Why
of
does he grab a new marker for each EO? You know, honest to God, it wouldn't surprise me if he was auctioning these off because he sells every other fucking thing his body has touched for the past 10 years for money.
a number of people. We have many people that don't work. We have many people probably that aren't even living that are getting checks. And we're finding all of that out, and it's being reported. We're going to save hundreds of billions of dollars. We've already saved a lot. And parts of it are contracts that are expired that we're paying on. Many crazy things that, you can see it happening. It shouldn't happen, but you can see it happening. You see a lot of it being put out. But the other thing I think most important for today, I want the cabinet members to keep good people. Now, I don't want to see a big cut where a lot of good people are cut. I want the cabinet members to keep the good people, and the people that aren't doing a good job, that are unreliable, don't show up to work, etc. Those people can be cut. So I had a meeting, and I said I want the cabinet members go first. Keep all the people you want, everybody that you need. And it would be better if they were there for 2 years instead of 2 weeks, because in 2 years they'll know the people better. But I want them to do the best job they can. When we have good people, that's precious. That's very important. And we want them to keep the good people. And so we're going to be watching them, and Elon and the group are going to be watching them. And if they can cut, it's better. And if they don't cut, then Elon will do the cutting.
So, Mr. President, is there a reflection that you think Doge and Elon Musk have been moving too quickly?
No, I think they've done an amazing job. They've done an amazing job, and look at what they found. I read it the other night in the speech. I mean, they found these things where billions of dollars has been poured down the drain to things. That's not about people. That's about contracts where billions and billions of dollars was just thrown out the window. It probably got kickbacks. I'm sure there were tremendous kickbacks for the people that authorized those contracts. But no, Elon has been really teaching everybody about the numbers that you can do. But what I want is I want the numbers, but I also want to keep the good people. We want to get rid of the people that aren't working, that aren't showing up, and have a lot of problems. And so they're working together with Elon. And I think we're doing a really great job. We're cutting it down. We have to for the sake of our country. You can't have that kind of fat. It's bloat, and like nobody's ever seen before, where you need 20,000 and they have 120,000 people. And you just don't need that many. And it happens with companies and it happens with governments, I guess. You could go to a lot of governments, you'd see the same thing. But we're trying to get it down. We want to be able, next year we could balance the budget. I think there's a good chance we could balance the budget next year. We have a lot of good things happening. Plus we have a lot of revenue things happening, like today with the shipbuilding. And this gentleman behind me is going to create a lot of jobs. And it's about the biggest there is in the world. We had the biggest ship maker in the world here a few days ago. He's going to be spending $200 billion on building plants. We're not giving them any money to build it either. It's not, the chip act is ridiculous, where the Biden thing, where they give billions of dollars to people that have nothing but money. They're not going to spend that money. They're just taking that money. We're giving nothing. They're coming in because of the tariffs, because they don't want to pay the tariffs, and they're opening up big. So, but with respect to people, I said I want to cut the people, but I want to keep the good people.
Tariffs, sir, can you walk us through the next steps on this? Steel and aluminum tariffs are due to kick in next week on Canada, Mexico, and every other country. Are those going to be modified as well?
No, those are not modified. Those are happening next week, and the big one will be on April 2nd.
Oh, steel and aluminum is next week. We just got tariffs for every random fucking day now. Okay.
And reciprocal tariffs. So if India or China or any of the countries that really, India's a very high tariff nation. I'll tell you what's a high tariff nation is Canada. Canada charges us 250% for our milk product and other products.
250% and for every random thing that he thinks up.
And a tremendous tariff on lumber and things as such. And yet we don't need their lumber. We have more lumber than they do. We don't need Canada's lumber. So what I'm doing is I'll be signing an executive order freeing up our forests so that we're allowed to take down trees and make a lot of money and then reharvest trees. Also, we're cutting fire divides. A fire divide is a 50-yard to 70-yard swath where the trees can't, it's long enough so trees don't burn forever until you can get them out. And those trees can be sold and made a lot of money with. So, but we'll be doing that. We don't need trees from Canada. We don't need cars from Canada. We don't need energy from Canada. We don't need anything from Canada. So where we can be self-sustaining, which is in most things. Look, we have more oil and gas than anybody. Our forests are massive forests. We're just not allowed to use them because of the environmental lunatics that stopped us. So I'm going to be freeing that up very shortly so that we don't have to go to other countries to buy lumber. Why should we be buying lumber from other countries, paying tariffs, paying big prices, extraordinary prices, and we have lumber. We have the best lumber. Go ahead.
And this USMCA exemption you're essentially announcing today for this 1 month?
It's just a modification, short term, because I didn't want to hurt the American. It would have hurt the American car companies if I did.
What? Tariffs would hurt the American car companies? But only this month, not next month? What does that mean?
Would you consider the same sort of exemption or pause for the auto tariffs you're talking about next month?
We're not looking at that, no.
No,
we're not looking at that, no.
Are you considering revoking the TPS for the Ukrainians who live here in the U.S.?
What about it?
Are you considering revoking the TPS status for the more than 200,000 Ukrainians who live here in the U.S.?
What are you saying?
Yeah, the Ukrainians that are here in the U.S., they're under TPS status.
What, GPS?
TPS, temporary.
Oh, I thought you said GPS.
TPS. Yeah. There was some news saying they were going to be revoked and they were going to be deported from the country. Are you considering that?
Well, we're not looking to hurt anybody. We're certainly not looking to hurt them. And I'm looking at that. And there were some people that think that's appropriate and some people don't. And I'll be making a decision pretty soon. Okay? But we're not looking to hurt them. Especially Ukrainians. They've gone through a lot. Yeah, Peter?
The clocks are going to spring forward on Sunday. When are you going to get rid of daylight savings?
Okay, are you ready? So this should be the easiest one of all. But
Spring forward on Sunday. When are you going to get rid of daylight savings?
Okay, are you ready?
When are you going to get rid of delinked cities? What's he saying?
This a lot. Yeah, Peter?
The clocks are going to spring forward on Sunday. When are you going to get rid of daylight savings?
Okay, are you ready? So this should be the easiest one of all, but it's a 50-50 issue. And if something's a 50-50 issue, it's hard to get excited about it. I assume people would like to have more light later, but some people want to have more light earlier because they don't want to take their kids to school in the dark. And it's a little bit one way, but it's very much a 50-50 issue. And it's something I can do, but a lot of people like it one way, a lot of people like it the other way. It's very even. And usually I find when that's the case, what else do we have to do?
And I got to ask, because we're talking about this here, joint address, we're talking about Butler. It's been 7 months. Why do you think we don't know more about the guy who shot you in the ear?
Yeah, well, and the second one with all of his cell phones. So I want to find the answers. I've told them. In fact, today I said, I want to find, we can no longer blame Biden for that one. He should have released that a long time ago. So they are giving me a report next week sometime, and I do believe I'll be releasing. I want to release the report. A lot of people have asked that question. You had one who had 3 apps, 2 of which were foreign, supposedly, and who has the biggest white shoe law firm.
What people are asking for daylight savings, except those farmer fucks. Oh, I don't even think farmers ask for daylight savings. Like, I'm pretty sure farmers will wake up when it's daylight out and they'll do their business and then they'll go to sleep when it's not daylight out. I don't think they like need the clock to change. There might have been an argument way in the past when like you had to farm and you had to go into town for shit or something, or you wanted more day, like maybe. But nowadays, I don't think any of that fucking matters at all. I'm pretty sure it's been. I don't even know if it's a contentious issue anymore. I think people just say that daylight savings is just a huge net drain on the economy. It doesn't help at all anymore. Or it's not a huge net drain, but like on the daylight savings time when it switches, we just lose like billions of dollars of productivity because of people fucking their clock reset up and just all sorts of dumb shit. Like
in Pennsylvania, even though they don't live in necessarily a white Jew area. What's that all about? His law, the law firm. The other one had 7 or 6 cell phones, and I don't have 6 cell phones. And why would somebody have 6 cell phones? So we're going to be releasing a report on that soon, Peter.
But based on what you're saying right there, the lack of information and the data point that you just gave, does that make you think that there's some part of that there's some paper?
It could be. Well, it makes other people think that. It makes me think it a little bit too. I say, when you have 3 apps and 2 of them are foreign, and you had an FBI that wouldn't report on it, they didn't want to say why. I would say that could be suspicious. And then on the second assassin, you had, and by the way, I have to tell you, Secret Service did a great job on that by spotting him. But on the second one, he had 6 cell phones. That's a lot of cell phones. And a couple of them had some strange markings on them. So, yeah, I want to find out, and I would be willing to release it. I mean, maybe there's a reason that we shouldn't, so I don't want to get too far ahead of my skis, but yeah, I would be very willing to release that. I'd like to see it. I want to see it myself. Not only you, I want to see that one myself.
President Macron yesterday said that France was ready to offer its nuclear protection to other European countries. What do you make of it? And in this case, would the US also maintain a nuclear umbrella for European countries?
Well, France is also willing to put soldiers into Ukraine for safety reasons if we can get it. I will say that we've made a lot of progress with Ukraine and a lot of progress with Russia over the last couple of days, and it'd be great to bring that to an end so we don't have to talk that way about nuclear. It'd be great if everybody would get rid of their nuclear weapons. We have Russia and us have by far the most. China will have an equal amount within 4 or 5 years. And it would be great if we could all denuclearize, because the power of nuclear weapons is crazy. It is crazy. And
wow.
I was very far along the process with Russia, despite the Russia hoax, which didn't make it easy. It was a total hoax, a total rigged hoax by some bad people. But despite that, I was very close to having a program with Russia, denuclearization, and we were going to get China. I spoke to President Xi about it, and he would have been very happy to have gone along with it. But bad things happened, like an election that was rigged happened, and so we had to come back 4 years later. But I would very much like to start those talks. The
U.S. president, leader of democracy in the free world, says his last democratic elections were rigged while praising Vladimir Putin and his democratic system. Great.
Instead of what you say, the denuclearization would be incredible.
Mr. President, on the auto tariffs that you were talking about, I know yesterday you spoke with the big 3. Did you tell them that no more exemptions were on the way, and what was the reaction?
I told them, that's it. This was a short-term deal. And they came back to me yesterday. They said, could we have some help on the tariffs because of the speed? And I said, look, I'm going to do it, but that's it. Don't come back to me after the April 2nd. I don't want to hear from you after April 2nd. We're not going to be doing it anymore. I want to help them.
What was the response?
They didn't complain, but I helped them short-term during this short-term transition. April 2nd is going to be a very big day for America.
Thank God. We just need 1 more month to move all of our production to the United States. We'll get it. 1 month, no problem.
So my understanding is that the long-standing U.S. policy is that we do not negotiate with terrorists. So how did you come to the decision to send somebody from your team to negotiate with Hamas?
We are having discussions with Hamas. We are helping Israel in those discussions because we're talking about Israeli hostages. And we're not doing anything in terms of Hamas. We're not giving cash. We're not giving $6 billion like you hear other administrations give. In fact, I got 59 hostages out, and we gave nothing. In 59, we gave nothing, not including what's going on with Hamas. I mean, I consider that something where we're helping Israel for the most part. We had a couple of hostages, as you know. We got a couple of hostages out, American hostages. But certainly, Peter, you have to negotiate. There's a difference between negotiating and paying. We want to get these people out. If you would have seen the people yesterday, maybe you did, I don't know, but if you would have seen them, the way they spoke about their captivity, it was unbelievable. It's terrible.
Are you discussing any changes to NATO where a NATO country gets attacked but they're not paying enough dues, so the United States doesn't defend them?
Well, I've said that to them. I said, if you're not going to pay, we're not going to defend. I said that 7 years ago. And because of that, they paid hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, if you're not going to pay your bills, we're not going to defend you. And it also went for the attack. But if they got attacked, they said, well, does that mean you won't defend us? I said, are you current or are you delinquent? They said, if we were delinquent, would you? I said, nope, I would not. And because of that, as you know, hundreds of billions of dollars came into NATO. You wouldn't have NATO right now if I weren't there. And your previous secretary...
Please, somebody ask him, when you say hundreds of billions of dollars are coming into NATO, what does that mean, sir? Where's that money going? Why can't one person ask him that question? Please ask him that question.
Not going to pay your bills, we're not going to defend you. And it also went for the attack. But if they got attacked, they said, well, does that mean you won't defend us? I said, are you current or are you delinquent? They said, if we were delinquent, would you? I said, nope, I would not. And because of that, as you know, hundreds of billions of dollars came into NATO. You wouldn't have NATO right now if I weren't there. And your previous Secretary General has said that. He said he's never seen anything like it. When I came to NATO, when I first had my first meeting, I noticed that people weren't paying their bills at all. And I said I should wait till my second meeting, and I did. And I brought that up. And I said, if you don't pay your bills, we're not going to participate. We're not going to protect you. And when I said that, as soon as I said that, it was amazing how the money came in. The money came in, and now they have money. But even now, it's not enough. It's really not enough. They should be paying more.
Mr. President, question on the investment, sir. You've overseen about $2 trillion worth of domestic private sector investments come in just about 2 months. This is the newest one. It comes after your announcement of a new shipbuilding.
What does it mean? It has to do with the investment that you make. How much of it's your percentage of GDP that you spend on your own military, basically.
office at the White House during your joint session to Congress. Can you talk about why this is important not only for national security, but to continue the renaissance of domestic manufacturing?
Well, we have to maintain a strong country. We have to maintain, and we want to pay off debt. We have a lot of debt, but that'll start coming off quickly when this all comes around. Look, we've been supporting the whole world. You mentioned NATO and you mentioned other things. We've been supporting the whole world. When I first came in, we were paying almost 100% of NATO. NATO it was crazy. We were supporting NATO. We were paying the bills for other countries. And yet those same countries, mostly European, the European countries were ripping us off in trade. They won't take our cars. They wouldn't take our agricultural product. They wouldn't take anything. Yet we were taking their cars by the millions. Mercedes and BMW and Volkswagen, all of them. We were taking their cars. They weren't taking it. We were taking their farm products. They weren't taking ours. It's a total ripoff. And yet we were protecting them by giving them the money. And that adds up to a bad number at the end of a lot of years. And that's what happened. And now it's time for this country to stop being ripped off. I had that done very much in the first administration, but then we had to focus on other things at the very end with COVID. And but we had the greatest economy in history. We had the greatest economy in history. I think we're going to redo it here, but even better. And I wanted to do what we're doing now in the first term, but we had so many other things to do. We had to fix the border, which we did. We had to fix our military. We rebuilt our military. We completely rebuilt the military, only to watch Biden give so much of it away to Afghanistan, if you can believe it. It's not even believable.
True.
It's not even believable.
The Taliban have like 3 of our aircraft carriers now, just totally given away.
The damage that man did or that administration did to this country is frankly not even believable. And in particular, allowing.
Why is it wrong for the U.S. to demand a 2% payment from all EU countries towards NATO? It's not a 2% payment to NATO. It's not to NATO. There is no payment to NATO. It's just investments in their own militaries. And he said 2%. Now he says 5%. I don't know if he said it in this meeting or if he'll say it, but like it just keeps going. It's just he doesn't understand what NATO's for, or he does, and he's just trying to destroy it.
Millions and millions of people to come into our country. Many of them were murderers and drug dealers and gang members and people from prison
Crazy
for really
asylums.
heinous crimes. For him to allow those people into our country, and now we're spending tremendous amounts of time and effort. Nikki and Tom Homan, who's doing an unbelievable job, but we shouldn't have to be spending anything on that. We have the safest border ever. Now we have actually, as you saw, the numbers just came out, where we have actually the lowest numbers in the history of our country. But we shouldn't have had to do that. What we're doing now is we're looking for murderers. Can you believe it? We're looking for murderers because thousands of murderers, some about 50% killed more than one person. One killed 5 or 7. And we're looking for those people right now. We shouldn't have to be looking for them.
On Peter's question, are you going to make that policy, U.S. policy, that the U.S. wouldn't defend NATO countries that don't pay?
Well, I think it's common sense, right? If they don't pay, I'm not going to defend them. No, I'm not going to defend them. I got into a lot of heat when I said that. He said, oh, he's violating.
Do you think this is the first time in U.S. history where the United States said, oh, yeah, we won't defend a NATO country if they don't match whatever Trump's arbitrary decision of 2%, 5%, or whatever, of military commitment, of spending commitment? Good one. Nice.
And the biggest problem I have with NATO, I really, I know the guys very well. They're friends of mine. But if the United States was in trouble, and we called them, we said, we got a problem. France, we got a problem. A couple of others I won't mention. Do you think they're going to come and protect us? They're supposed to. I'm not so sure. With Japan, we have a deal, which is a very interesting one. And I love Japan too.
Wait.
A couple of others I won't. We called them, we said, I know the guys very well. They're friends. When I said that, he said,
hold on.
Oh, he's violating.
Wait. What did he just say? I'm sorry. It sounded like he said, if we were to trigger Article 5, would they come and defend us? My understanding is Article 5 has only been triggered one time in the history of all of NATO, and it was for 9/11. And I'm pretty sure, even though some might have been reluctant, I'm pretty sure everybody joined in that. Give me the article. This episode features former NATO Secretary General Lord Robertson, who was in office during the 9/11 terrorist attacks and led the alliance through the declaration of Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty for the first and only time in its history. I don't think anybody refused to participate in that, right? Like, that was a joint invasion for Iraq and Afghanistan and everything. That's an unbelievable statement. If you
NATO, and the biggest problem I have with NATO, I really, I know the guys very well. They're friends of mine. But if the United States was in trouble, and we called them, we said, we got a problem. France, we got a problem. A couple of others I won't mention. Do you think they're going to come and protect us? They're supposed to. I'm not so sure. You know, with Japan, we have a deal, which is a very interesting one. And I love Japan. We have a great relationship with Japan. But we have an interesting deal with Japan that we have to protect them, but they don't have to protect us. You know that? That's the way the deal reads. We have to protect Japan. And by the way, they make a fortune with us economically. There's another case. But we have to protect Japan. But under no circumstances do they have to protect us. I actually asked, who makes these deals? Yeah, Peter?
Well, so why stay in NATO at all?
I view NATO as potentially good, but you got to get circumstances do they have to protect us. I actually asked, who makes these deals? Yeah, Peter?
Well, so why stay in NATO at all?
I view NATO as potentially good, but you got to get some good thinking in NATO. It's very unfair what's been happening. Until I came along, we were paying close to 100% of NATO. So think of
what does that mean? Can somebody with a fucking spine in this room ask him what that means? Paying 100% of NATO? Paying what? What are you paying?
We're paying 100% of their military, and they're screwing us on
Who's
trade.
NATO's military? Who's their military? Who's military? Who's the NATO military? What is he talking about?
And when Zelensky inevitably comes back to the White House, what do you expect from him? And do you think you'll see him in the next time?
Well, I think what's going to happen is Ukraine wants to make a deal because I don't think they have a choice. I also think that Russia wants to make a deal because in a different way that only I know. Only I know. They have no choice either.
Are you looking to go to Saudi Arabia and meet with Putin about this?
I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm going to Saudi Arabia. I made a deal with Saudi Arabia where, because normally you'd go to UK first. And last time I went to Saudi Arabia, they put up $450 billion. You know that, right? You were there. We had American companies that took in $450 billion. I said, well, this time they've gotten richer. We've all gotten older. So I said, I'll go if you pay $1 trillion to American companies, meaning the purchase over a 4-year period of $1 trillion. And they've agreed to do that. So I'm going to be going there, and I have a great relationship with them. And they've been very nice, but they're going to be spending a lot of money to American companies for buying military equipment and a lot of other things.
Fact check. U.S. contributes to 16% of NATO's annual budget, not 2/3. The U.S. contributes about 1/6 of NATO's annual budget, not 2/3. It's claimed to social media. Washington finances 15.8% of the military alliance's yearly expenditures of whatever the military or whatever like the NATO structure is. Apparently, their yearly expenditure is $3.5 billion. Widely viewed post said the U.S. paid $860 billion to NATO, making up 66% of a budget of $1.3 trillion, which garnered some angry comments. But the post conflates the total U.S. annual defense spending with its contribution to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization budget, while also exaggerating NATO's budget. Washington allocated $816.7 billion for defense spending in 2023. In that same year, NATO's budget was $3.3 billion.
Trip in the near future?
Probably over the next month and a half. Yes.
Mr. President, you told us a couple weeks ago that you were looking to speak with President Xi of China. That hasn't happened. How come? What are you
Well, I
waiting
have
for?
spoken to him. Yeah.
Since that last one?
I don't want to say that, but I have spoken to him. Yeah, please.
Yeah, Mr. President.
I have a great relationship with President Xi.
But you've spoken.
It was hurt because of COVID.
Thank you, Mr.
That's why I don't call it the China virus anymore. So please don't call it the China virus.
But to be clear, you've spoken to him since January 17th?
I don't want to say that, but I have spoken to him.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
I speak to him a lot.
Regarding this executive order you signed revoking security clearances on the American Skoy, do you think there should be more steps like this to be taken against other people involved in the Russia collusion?
I do, but that's going to be up ultimately to the Attorney General and various other people.
So this is a follow-up the other night. We saw Democrats' behavior during your joint address to Congress.
Yeah.
Do you think it shows just how out of touch they are with the American people, especially given that 79%, according to a CBS poll, approved of your
I love this guy. Who are you with?
My name is Nick Gilbertson with Breitbart News.
I really like your questions.
Thank you very much.
So regarding the executive order,
The answer is just, Nick, just to, and I know your name very well. Good job, you do. Yeah, the answer is I thought it was very embarrassing for the Democrats what happened the other night. And that's not said for any other reason other than it's obvious. It's fact. Even CNN fake news said that. They came out and they said it. And worse than CNN is MSDNC, which is the worst. And the good news is very few people watch them anymore. They have lost such credibility. And frankly, what Nicole Wallace said, I've never been a fan of hers, and she's not very talented. But I'll tell you what she said the other day about that young man is disgraceful. She should be forced to resign. And Rachel Maddow should be forced to resign. Nobody watches her anyway. I don't know. It's not possible they pay her as much money as I hear, but certainly she's lost all credibility, both of them. But what they said the other day, they should be forced to resign about that young person who is suffering greatly. Thank you, Nick.
Will you extend, if a TikTok deal was not made on the timeline you gave, will you extend that?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
I think, look, we have a lot of interest in TikTok. And China's going to play a role, right? So hopefully China will approve of the deal. But they're going to play a role. But we have a lot of interest in TikTok.
How long do you extend it? How close are you to
Well,
it?
we'll see. But if I need, I don't, right now we have at least another month, so we don't need an extension. But if I needed an extension, I'd probably get it extended.
Mr. President, regarding the executive orders, there was talk that you might sign one winding down the education department.
Which department?
The education department. Are you having second thoughts on that one?
No. I want to bring the schools. I want to bring the schools back to the states. And I've said it 100 times. We're ranked at the bottom of the list, and yet we spend more. We're ranked number one for cost per student. We're ranked at the bottom of the list in education. And I know if I bring it back to Iowa, Indiana, Idaho, all these great states, I think I could say 40 states. I want to bring it back. 10 states won't be perfect. 5 states will be probably not so good. But they will be every bit as good as Norway and Denmark and Sweden and all of the states that are rated at the top. If you tell me about Indiana and some of these great states that run really well, Iowa, you tell me about those states, and if they run their own education, they're going to do a lot better than somebody sitting in Washington, D.C. that couldn't care less about the pupils out in the Midwest.
What?
Well, I want to just do it. I mean, we're starting the process. We're trying to get the schools back into the states. Let the states run the schools. And I'll tell you, you'll see something. It's going to blow your mind. It'll be run so well. The school system. And I also believe in school choice, but that will take care of itself.
Follow up to that, Mr. President. If the education department were eliminated, how would you see sort of what department, what agency would handle student loans and the other types of federal
That would be brought in. Yeah, that would be brought into either Treasury or Small Business Administration or Commerce. And we've actually had that discussion today. I don't think the education should be handling the loans. That's not their business. I think it'll be brought into small business. Maybe Kelly really liked it and really would like to do it. So the loans would be brought into a group where they would do that. And I think that is, by the way, the most complicated thing in moving. But it's very simple if you do that.
Our country rejected your plan to move out more than 2 million people out of Gaza. What's your reaction to that and to Egypt's plan and to this meeting that happened?
Out of Gaza? Yeah. I think that Gaza is a mess. And I think that Gaza could be good. I think it's got to be run properly. But right now, Gaza is an absolute mess, and it has been for many, many years and decades. Yeah, Peter, did you have one more?
Yeah. They have these 2 Starliner astronauts stuck in space for 8 months. Have you spoken to them?
They left him alone. Biden left him up there.
And what do you know about that?
I know everything about it. I said, we have 2 astronauts that are stuck in space. I have asked Elon, I said, do me a favor. Can you get him out? He said, yes, he is preparing to go up, I think, in 2 weeks.
What do you know about how this went down? Because he's saying that the Biden White House was offered some kind of SpaceX rocket to go get these guys, and they said no.
That's what I heard. I can't tell you that, but that's what I heard. But
why can't you tell us that? Aren't you the president of the United States of America? Wouldn't you know that? Wouldn't you have access to that information? Why are we relying on Elon's fucking secondhand information here when you're literally the president of the United States? Is it me, or is he holding several press moments / glaze fest literally every single day ever since inauguration, or is this still part of his media saturation overflooding strategy? Yeah, it's one of the same, of course. He's an influencer president. He just needs to be in the spotlight all the time so they can constantly control the media narrative. Yes.
Biden was embarrassed by what happened, and he said, leave him up there. I would have said, if you're embarrassed, you got to get him out. Elon is right now preparing a ship to go up and get him.
I'm sure that they will see this in space. What is your message?
So we love you, and we're coming up to get you, and you shouldn't have been up there so long. The most incompetent president in our history has allowed that to happen to you, but this president won't let it happen. We're going to get them out. We're coming up to get you. I've authorized Elon. I said, can you get them out? Because, they've been left up there. I hope they like each other, but maybe they'll love each other. I don't know. But they've been left up there. Think of it. And I see the woman with the wild hair, good solid head of hair she's got. There's no kidding. There's no games with her hair. But, and there's a danger up there, too. They can have some failures up there that would be very bad. Got to get them out. So I've authorized Elon a week ago. I said, we have 2 people up there that Biden and Kamala left up there. And he knows it very well. I said, are you equipped to get him? He said, yeah, he's got a Starship. And they're preparing it right now. And so Elon is going to go up and get him. Should I go on that journey just to be on the ship when we stop?
Please, yes.
Yes.
I should do it. No, that's terrible. I thought he liked me. I thought, Maria, should I do it?
Well, you should have
Maria likes me better.
Should they come back from space?
Well, when they come back, I'll greet him. How about that? No, we're going to get him out. I've authorized Elon Musk to go and get him. And he's prepared to do so.
So, President, what are you making of the market to sell off this week?
I think it's globalists that see how rich our country's going to be, and they don't like it. There's a big market out there. But again, they've been ripping off this country for years, and now they're going to do great. Everyone's going to do great. But we can't let this continue to happen to America. Otherwise, we're not going to have a country any longer. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Great. Thank you, Nick.
What, and then he does another one after?
How are you? Good job. How are you? Good job, you doing. Thank you very much. Today, we're delighted to be joined by Rodolphe Sade, the chairman and CEO of CMA CGM, one of the largest shipping companies in the world, probably number 2 in the world, probably going to be number 1 in the not-too-distant future, knowing him. They employ over 160,000 employees. They have 750 major container vessels worldwide. And I'm thrilled to announce that he's going to be investing $20 billion into the United States because of the election results, which comes along with a lot of other things like great protections and other things. This massive investment will go toward building out shipping logistics, infrastructure, and terminals, which will create an estimated 10,000 new jobs in America. It's so important because it's about shipping. We lost our way for many years. We haven't done anything. We used to build a ship a day, and now we essentially don't build ships. We're going to start that, and we're going to be announcing next week or the week after a massive new program for building very larger ships in the world. And it'll have to do with incentives.
What does Elon Musk is going to go in and get them mean? It means that he's going to tweet out how to do it, and if the people don't like his answer, he's going to call them pedophiles.
Taxes will be coming from all over the world, just like they are with cars, with what we've done with tariffs. We have at least 7 new major car plants that are going to be starting very shortly because of what we're doing with the tariffs, which will primarily start on April the 2nd. Most of the tariffs go in April the 2nd. Right now we have some temporary ones and small ones on relatively small, although it's a lot of money, having to do with Mexico and Canada. But the predominant tariffs they'll be reciprocal in nature. They'll be going on April the 2nd, so we'll be talking about that. It'll be
that's kind of low. He's probably anybody that's willing to make an investment. He's probably just saying like, hey, if you make this promise, they probably don't even have to like sign a deal or whatever. I'll wheel you into the White House and glaze you. We can glaze each other so that you can see that you're getting currying favor with the emperor, basically, right?
Game changer for our country because we've been ripped off by every country in the world, and now whatever they charge us 150, 200%, that we charge them nothing. So whatever they charge us, we're going to charge them, and there'll be no getting out of it. So we look forward to April 2nd. I've been looking forward to that date for a long time. I had it as April 1st, but I didn't want to be hit for April Fool's Day. I'm a very superstitious person. So we made it April 2nd. It probably cost us a lot of money doing that, but it's okay. I feel better about it. And it'll be something very big. But I'd like to ask Rodolphe if you'd say a few words, please, about what you're going to do, and also about the possibility of shipbuilding in our country. Please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Yes, indeed, we are CNA CGM, one of the leaders in shipping and logistics around the world. We are very enthusiastic about this big announcement of today. We are investing $20 billion in shipping and logistics. This means the creation of 10,000 new American jobs. We're also looking at investing in shipbuilding of container vessels. And we most probably will be making also announcement in the next coming weeks. And we would like also, Mr. President, to go for more U.S. flag vessels. And we will go from 10 that we operate today to 30 U.S. flag ships, and hopefully doing more in the months to come. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, and congratulations on your great success. He's built with his father, before him, built one of the great shipping empires of the world. And that is, I never heard 750. It sounds like a lot to me, doesn't it, huh?
It is.
That's a fantastic company. Congratulations. Really great job. And I'm a real honor to have you. Why is it that more people don't have American flags? They seem to have Panamanian flags and Liberian flags. They don't seem to have a lot of American flags.
But this will change, Mr. President. You will have more ships with U.S. flag as we move forward, and you can count on us to do as much as we can.
That's very good. It's true. Other countries take advantage of us even on that. So we're going to be changing that around, and I appreciate you coming up and even bringing it to our attention. It's really a great thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Appreciate it. Will, could you come over? We're going to
Yes, sir.
sign some executive orders.
Sir, your administration has made it a priority both to end lawfare and the weaponization of government, and also to hold those who have engaged in lawfare accountable. One of the law firms that has been involved in that is called Perkins Coie. That's also a law firm that has engaged in unlawful DEI practices. This executive order will suspend security.
And I've watched it take place.
Unlawful DEI practices? What the fuck does that even mean? If it's unlawful, why the fuck do we need an executive order to go after it?
This executive order will suspend security clearances and access to certain federal resources for that law firm, and also launch a holistic review of unlawful DEI practices at some of the nation's largest law firms.
This is an absolute honor to sign. What they've done is it's just terrible. It's weaponization. You could say weaponization against a political opponent, and it should never be allowed to happen again. And you're looking at about 15 different firms?
That or more, sir, yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. One of the tools the left has consistently used to frustrate good government policies has been the use of injunctions and temporary restraining orders. Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 65C allows for essentially a demand for an injunction bond for folks who are seeking temporary restraining orders and injunctions to post a bond before they're allowed to proceed in court. This presidential memorandum would order the Department of Justice, its litigating components, to seek those injunction bonds whenever someone tries to challenge our policies in court, so that when they end up losing in court, and we believe that they will end up losing in court, that they can be held financially responsible for the disruption to federal activities that their actions have caused.
Right. Something they wanted to do a long time, right?
Nice. Big bully. So since Roberts and Amy sided with the liberals in the Supreme Court and shot down the government's refusal to cooperate with the judiciary TROs that were placed on them, basically saying you have to pay out that USAID money. You can't just block funding from the whole federal government with no warning for contracts that have already been completed that you need to pay for, right? So now they're signing another executive order saying like, oh, well, if you're going to make us do a TRO, if we eventually win the case, we get to come back and basically recover damages for whatever the TRO restrained us from doing. I don't even know how you'd calculate that. I don't even know if this is legal. I don't even know if this is even possible. I have no clue, but
responsible for the disruption to federal activities that their actions have caused.
Right. Something they wanted to do a long time, right? They've been looking to do this for years.
Yes, sir.
And why they just never got
This is a rule that's been
He has no fucking idea what he doesn't even know this is related to his current court cases. So he can't even give the propaganda line, right? But it doesn't matter, right? Because what he should be saying, the propaganda line that he should be saying is like, thank you. Now when people are bringing these frivolous lawsuits up against us, trying to stop DOJ from cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from the government, and when they're stopping our actions and they're continuing this waste, fraud, and abuse, even when they win with these activist judges getting these TROs, we can at least get the money back and, fine them for wasting our time and wasting DOJ's and the government's time and recovering taxpayer dollars. He didn't even know the propaganda line to give, though. He's no fucking idea what this guy even just said. He's a fucking retard.
Time, right? They've been looking to do this for years.
Yes, sir.
And why they just haven't got
This is a rule that's been on the books for a very long time. The Department of Justice has been very inconsistent in seeking these bonds.
From a legal standpoint, really a very big thing.
Thank you, sir. In order to protect American car manufacturers and American farmers, we have 2 modifications to the IEEPA tariffs that have already been announced against Canada and Mexico. This first order relates to Canada. Essentially, what it will allow for is the flow of parts and sub-assembly products into America to allow American car manufacturers to continue building cars. It basically excludes USMCA-eligible goods from existing tariffs. And also, in order to help our farmers at this crucial time of year, we're going to be reducing the tariff imposed on Canadian potash from 25% to 10%. So this is a modification to our tariff regime to protect American car manufacturers and American farmers.
It basically makes it more fair for our car manufacturers during the short-term period before April 2nd.
I love it's like so ingenious. Why did you put 25% tariffs on Canada? Because it helps our economy. Why did you lower the tariffs from 25 to 10%? Because it helps our economy. Okay, but then why are you putting them back up in a month? Because it helps our economy.
April 2nd is
this is like the most obvious example of that all roads lead to Rome example that I said earlier, the line of logic where everything he does is good, even when he's doing the exact opposite thing that he literally fucking just did.
That will be much more significant, but during this interim period between now and April 2nd, this makes it much more favorable for our American car manufacturers.
Why is Trump constantly signing executive orders? What does this do, and why doesn't it go through Congress? He signs executive orders to make his will as the president known, to see what they can do to the fullest extent that they're allowed to do it, or that they can break the law and wait until they get challenged in the courts to do it. The reason why it doesn't go through Congress is because Trump and MAGA cannot govern. They cannot govern effectively or at all. They don't know how to govern. So Trump doesn't govern. He just tries to rule as a king. That's why they talk about the mandate from the people, that we're a democracy now, not a republic anymore. Now we're a democracy with a mandate from the people. And so it's just Trump, 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 Trump. All the press conferences, all the influencer behavior, all of the executive orders, all the meme speeches, all the renamings of the fucking oceans and the crazy statements and the phone calls and everything else, because that's all he can do. He can't govern effectively. So they don't talk about legislation or do anything with legislation.
Yeah. Can you see that, Peter? Look, nice to be tall, Peter, right?
I see right over it.
You get to see it, so that's why he's such a gentleman. He doesn't have to rush.
Yeah. And this is the same just for Mexico, sir, the previous one.
Same thing for Mexico. One for Canada, one for Mexico.
Yes, sir.
They've been in the news lately, haven't they? And I spoke to the president of Mexico, wonderful woman, today, and we helped them out with the problem they were having to do with the tariffs, short-term tariffs. And we had a very good conversation. Also, we discussed drugs. And they've been working much harder lately. Do you notice that? On people coming in and drugs. And we made tremendous progress on both.
Wow.
President Trump, what's your thought about why the markets are so spooked? Do you think they don't like the tariffs, or do they not like the uncertainty with some of the changes and the carve-outs?
Well, a lot of them are globalist countries and companies that won't be doing as well because we're taking back things that have been taken from us many years ago. We've been treating...
Just imagine what he just said. Ooh. Donald Trump just said, the guy asked, why do you think the markets are spooked? And he says, Donald Trump's answer is, the markets are spooked because American companies are globalist companies that dominate the world market. And now we're hurting those companies because fuck American dominance in the global market. That was his answer. What?
Don't like the tariffs, or do they not like the uncertainty with some of the changes and the carve-outs?
Well, a lot of them are globalist countries and companies that won't be doing as well because we're taking back things that have been taken from us many years ago. We've been treated very...
What is he even saying?
Unfairly as a country. We protect everybody. We do everything for all these countries. And a lot of these are globalist in nature. You know, they have, if you're outside of the United States, you know, it's going to be a little bit different. We just weren't treated right. We were ripped off as a country. I've been saying it for a long time. And I did it
also, remember, something underlining a lot of people in general, but Trump as well, right, who I guess is just not even the most rudimentary understanding of economics. It's always a fixed pie. The world economy is like $100. And if other countries are doing well with American companies, that must mean they're taking from America. So he's okay saying, well, yeah, these are globalist companies, and that's probably why they're spooked. But if the globalist companies do worse in other countries, then that means that they're going to be doing better here. Or if those other countries are losing, we must be winning. Because in his mind, there's always a loser and a winner of the same order on both sides of every single deal. There's no such thing as a deal where both sides are profiting. It's always a winner and a loser, like on both sides of every deal, which is probably an indicator of how much of a dog shit fucking businessman he is, because nothing in the economy works that way. But
we just weren't treated right. We were ripped off as a country. I've been saying it for a long time, and I did it to a certain extent in the first administration. But with COVID coming in, we had to focus on that toward the end. But we had the greatest economy in history in the first administration, and I think we'll do even better now. But this is something that we have to do. There'll always be a little short-term interruption. I don't think it's going to be big, but the countries and companies that have been ripping us aren't particularly happy with what I'm doing. But the United States will be very happy. And, you know, our farmers are going to be very happy. And again, there'll be disruption. But in the end, I said it before with China, we signed an unbelievable deal with China, $50 billion in purchases, and we're doing great. Biden, however, when he came in, he never...
What are you talking about?
They never enforced that deal. So,
$50 billion in purchases? What is he talking about?
Globalist companies that have been ripping us off that won't be able to rip us off any longer. I think that's what the big charge is.
Have you been influenced, some of these exemptions that have been announced and some of these temporary delays, have you been influencing those decisions because of the market reaction?
Well, there are no delays at all. No, nothing to do with the market. I'm not even looking at the market because long term, the United States will be very strong with what's happening here. Now, these are countries and companies, foreign companies that have been ripping us off, and no president did anything about it until I came along, and then I did a lot about it. You know, we took in tariffs.
Isn't our S&P 500, like, who are the big drivers? What are they called? Is it like the Golden Seven? Fuck, there's a nickname for... Is it Magnificent Seven? These account for what percentage of of our markets right now? We've got Google, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla. Which of these companies are the globalist companies that are destroying our country? Like, can we just talk about one of them? Like, what? Can somebody ask that question? Mr. President, you keep saying the globalist companies that are ruining our country. Which companies are you talking about? What the fuck are you referring to there?
Been ripping us off. And no president did anything about it until I came along, and then I did a lot about it. You know, we took in tariffs from China, $600 billion. Nobody else took in 10 cents from China. They never did. But when COVID came along, we had to focus on COVID. We did a great job. We got rid of that. We ended up handing...
Wait, what?
They never did. You know, we took in tariffs from China, $600 billion.
Is that true? $600 billion versus none at all? Is that in 1 year, over 4 years? Or what is... does anybody have a link to, like, tariffs we've taken in from China? Is that, like, a number over time? Or it's a lot of money.
Nobody else took in 10 cents from China. They never did. But when COVID came along, we had to focus on COVID. We did a great job. We got rid of that. We ended up handing over with a market that was higher than it was previous to COVID coming in. But this is very much about companies and countries that have ripped off this country, our beloved USA, and they're not going to be ripping us off anymore. So, you know, I think that has an impact on the market.
Sir, this is a slate of nominees that's been prepared by the Presidential Personnel Office. It includes a number of sub-cabinet level appointments, a number of your ambassadors that have been previously announced, and also, crucially, given the administration's concerted effort to focus on violent crime, it includes a number of U.S. attorneys in major cities that have real crime problems.
Okay. Some very good people, too.
Thank you, sir. And then we have a number of ceremonial proclamations that Lindsay Halligan is going to...
So two very special proclamations, the first of which is a proclamation that proclaims March 2025 as Women's History Month in honor of all the wonderful women in your administration, all the wonderful women in America, and in honor of everything you've done for women in this administration.
Does he always bring the woman back just for the women EOs?
Done for women in just, what, a month and a half? So.
Yeah, we've done a lot. And women have done a lot for us, right? This is an honor.
Oh, wait. Did we travel back into the... Oh, so we already watched this part, and then the other thing was earlier. So this was just one long thing. Just for some reason, that other thing we watched started in the middle or something? Okay.
We have a wonderful woman here, Maria Bartiromo. Said that, as soon as I said that, it was amazing how the money came in. The money came in, and now...
Nice. This is wild. He signed an executive order to go after one law firm. Notably, in 2016, while representing failed presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, Perkins Coie hired Fusion GPS, which then manufactured a false dossier designed to steal an election. Perkins Coie has worked with activist donors, including George Soros, to judicially overturn popular, necessary, and democratically enacted election laws. In one such case, a court was forced to sanction Perkins Coie attorneys for an unethical lack of candor before the court. It's pronounced Perkins Coie. Imagine not only just having the federal government coming after you, but the president of the United States signing an executive order to go after you. Jesus fuck. Jesus. Big things happening. U.S. stocks plunge to worst day of 2025. Breaking. Trump has just said he is not looking at the stock market. U.S. job cuts total 172,000 in February. Highest since July of 2020. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Access to cheap goods is not the essence of the American dream. True. In addition to undermining democratic elections, Perkins Coie racially discriminates against its own attorneys and staff and against applicants. They publicly announced percentage quotas in 2019 for hiring and promotion on the basis of race and other categories prohibited by civil rights laws. It proudly excluded applicants on the basis of race for its fellowships, and it maintained these discriminatory practices until applicants harmed by them finally sued to enforce change. What standing does the federal government have for any suit here against them? What? Suspend any active security clearances held by individuals at Perkins Coie. Okay. Canceling all government contracts to this law firm. Nice. Good job. Weaponizing the government there. Is it Coie? Coie. Oh, Coie. Sorry. And then terminating all contracts. Jesus. Limit official access from federal government buildings to employees of Perkins Coie. Nice. It's kind of fucking unhinged, but okay. What is this? U.S. Department of Justice to the Dean of Georgetown Law. Dear Sir, as United States Attorney for the District of Columbia, I receive requests for information and clarification. I take these requests seriously and act on them with letters like the one you are receiving, like this one you are receiving. It has come to my attention reliably that Georgetown Law School continues to teach and promote DEI. This is unacceptable. I have begun an inquiry into this and would welcome your response to the following questions. First, have you eliminated all DEI from your school and its curriculum? Second, if DEI is found in your courses or teaching in any way, I feel like that should be 2 words, Will you move swiftly to remove it? At this time, you should know that no applicant for our Fellows Program, our summer internship, or employment in our office who is a student or affiliated with a law school or university that continues to teach and utilize DEI will be considered. Jesus Christ. Is it true that tariffs will improve things in the long run, or is that unfounded? That's not unfounded. Nobody believes that. The exact opposite is true. Tariffs will hurt you in the long run. They hurt you in the short run, and they hurt you in the long run. Why is Trump specifically trying to destroy that company? Because they represented Hillary Clinton. Because they worked with Hillary. That's why. I look forward to your cooperation with my letter of inquiry after request. Thank you in advance for your assistance. Please respond by Monday, February 24th, 2025. Should you have further questions regarding this matter, please don't hesitate to call my office. Isn't the law not able to be so personalized? Like, I don't think you can just say Hillary Clinton is guilty when you can EO a specific company. It's an executive order, not a law, so. What makes DEI legal or illegal? I mean, I'm sure there are certain racial discriminatory practices that would be illegal, but you wouldn't need an executive order to go after people for it. I don't know if the federal government would even have standing to pursue those cases. I'm pretty sure these would be cases that an employee or an applicant or somebody that doesn't qualify would bring up and then sue if they feel like they were discriminated against. But Georgetown Law. Dear Interim U.S. Attorney Martin, I write in response to your letter dated February 17th, which you sent to me via email on March 3rd. Good one. As a Catholic and Jesuit institution, Georgetown University was founded on the principle that serious and sustained discourse among people of different faiths, cultures, and beliefs promotes intellectual, ethical, and spiritual understanding. For us at Georgetown, this principle is a moral and educational imperative. It is a principle that defines our mission as a Catholic and Jesuit institution. Georgetown University also prohibits discrimination and harassment in its programs and activities and takes seriously its obligations to comply with all federal and local laws. Oh, my Jesuits. Yes. Yes. Your letter challenges Georgetown's ability to define our mission as an educational institution. It inquires about Georgetown Law's curriculum and classroom teaching, asks whether diversity, equity, and inclusion is part of the curriculum, and asserts that your office will not hire individuals from schools where you find the curriculum unacceptable. The First Amendment, however, guarantees that the government cannot direct what Georgetown and its faculty teach and how to teach it. The Supreme Court has continually affirmed that among the freedoms central to a university's First Amendment rights are its abilities to determine, on academic grounds, who may teach, what to teach, and how to teach it. This is a bedrock principle of constitutional law recognized not only by the courts, but by the administration in which you serve. The Department of Education confirmed last week that it cannot restrict First Amendment rights and that it is statutorily prohibited from exercising control over the content of school curricula. Your letter informs me that your office will deny our students and graduates government employment opportunities until you, as interim U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, approve of our curriculum. Given the First Amendment's protection of a university's freedom to determine its own curriculum and how to deliver it, the constitutional violation behind this threat is clear, as is the attack on the university's mission as a Jesuit and Catholic institution. Georgetown Law has one of the preeminent faculties in this country, fostering groundbreaking scholarship, educating students in a wide variety of perspectives, and thriving on the robust exchange of ideas. Georgetown Law faculty have educated world leaders, members of Congress, and Justice Department officials from diverse backgrounds and perspectives. We pride ourselves on providing an excellent graduate and professional education built upon the Catholic and Jesuit tradition. Georgetown-educated attorneys have, for decades, served this country capably and selflessly in offices such as yours, and we have confidence that tradition will continue. We look forward to your confirming that any Georgetown-affiliated candidates for employment with your office will receive full and fair consideration. Damn. What do you struggle to say? Jesuit? Jesuit? Isn't that how you say it? I like how he called out the date in the beginning. Yeah, that's funny. He dated the letter the district attorney, Edward Martin, he dated the letter February 17th, but he only emailed it on March 3rd. Damn. Was this response on March? Oh no, this response was today. Oh, and he had please reply by the 24th. What a fucking loser, dude. Do they have any documents that describe what DEI is in any way? I don't know, not that I've seen.
Damn, did you see, dude?
Who is this guy?
God, there were, I mean, I don't even, I mean, if you're a right-wing person in this country, you must be elated for any number of reasons. One, like, obviously, you know, they control the Senate, the Congress, the House. They control the presidency. They have a majority on the Supreme Court. Like, it's a great time for your worldviews. Generally, the right is ascendant globally. I mean, it's a great time, right? Surely, if you're right wing, right, and I'm not, but I'm going to guess here. You must be looking at the Democratic Party and looking at just how pathetic they are. How pathetic they are. Did you guys see the Choose Your Fighter video that they put out today? Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Like, look at what Bernie does. Look at his dude. The fucking response from whatever her fucking name was to the State of the Union, where they're like, you know, Reagan wouldn't have done this. Bitch, who are you talking to? Like, who is this for? Who is this for? We're lionizing fucking Reagan, for crying out loud. What are we talking about here? Oh my god! Contrast that with Bernie's message in particular, and then more especially this oligarchy tour where he's going and it's like getting huge crowds and like rave reviews and people really are plugged in and tuned in. Like, dude, like he is leveraging whatever, again, they control the government, whatever minimal tools he has to advance his worldview, right? And to make a case to the public about what he thinks is important. And he's doing it in clear, forceful, but understandable terms. I'm not asking you to agree. I'm simply saying contrast the behavior of choose your fighter. I mean, this was a TikTok trend 2 years ago. What the fuck are you idiots doing? And then you're like, oh my god, dude, oh my god. And again, going back to Hakeem Jeffries, what leverage do we have? Quit, you fucking coward loser bitch. Quit. Get the fuck out of here. That's the best you can do. I have no soap to wash my hands for supper. Get the fuck out of here. Leave. You. They are cowards and failures and pathetic weaklings to the bone. I wish my political adversaries were so pathetic. I wish. They're not. They're quite forceful, actually. It's a completely different ballgame. And by the way, like, did you see the Axios report on this? There was this big.
There's like barely an ounce of truth to what he's saying, but like, remember, The reason why it's always going to be harder for the Democrats to fight is it's like you're playing a game of League of Legends and one of the guys is inting on your team and your goal is to win the game and the other guy's goal is to just have a good time, right? It's always going to be a trillion times harder for you to actually win than it is for the other guy to succeed. He's got an easier mission. Republicans literally do not give a fuck if they destroy every corner of this country, whether you're talking the Constitution, whether you're talking established laws and norms, whether you're talking the economy, whether you're talking people's lives, whatever. Republicans will shred everything. So Democrats have to navigate in a way where they're winning on this PR front, which I agree they need to do a better job at doing. But like, there's actually right and wrong things that Democrats can do. There's never a wrong thing that Republicans can do. We just saw it, right? Trump gets clapped and applauded for raising tariffs to 25%, and then he gets applauded for lowering tariffs to 10%, and then he gets applauded for, like, there's literally every single thing he does is epic and amazing, and it's just challenging perspective to be. It's a very challenging thing to be on the left where you're still trying to make headway on the public messaging, but you're also not trying to just like crash this plane with no survivors.
Big consultant class powwow that took place privately where the Dems came up with a great new strategy to fight back, and all of it was like discounting small donor donation. It was moving to the right on like a series of issues, like no forceful vision for a different way to think about anything.
Also, just I trigger my own audience. For people that like suck off Bernie, these people don't have the interests of the party in mind. They don't have the interests of political power in mind. They're just like idealistic people that they either end up voting for Trump or they just don't vote at all. The super huge like Bernie suck offs don't give a fuck about actually winning any elections. They're not giving you advice to win elections. They're just giving you advice for like ultra progressive candidates to win. They refuse to acknowledge reality. They refuse to acknowledge where the electorate is at, and their answer for everything is always be more progressive, be more progressive, be more progressive. That's always the answer with these guys. Don't listen to them. They don't have good advice for you. They don't like Bernie has really good energy. Bernie's really good stage presence. I'll never deny that. Bernie's obviously really good at that. But the people that like follow him, Bernie surrounds himself with probably some of the worst people that have been produced in the U.S. political system. People like Breonna Joy Gray, people that fell off him and related to like the Majority Report or I don't remember if anybody on the Majority Report actually worked with his campaign directly. I don't remember if Emma did or didn't. Maybe she didn't. But like everybody that came from and found and fell away around him was just like fucking. It's just not good. Yeah, be careful.
We're just going to do what they're doing, but diet version of it.
Oh yeah,
and of course, you saw how that worked out for Kamala in the election. We're like, oh yeah, we're going to get neocons on stage with us, like fucking Liz Cheney. Wasn't this going to go?
Like people are so eager to point this out. Well, it didn't work for Kamala. It didn't work for basically every candidate around the world for any incumbent party. But you know who it did work for? It worked for Biden in 2020, and he beat Trump. It did work for Biden. You know who it didn't work for? Didn't work for Bernie, who lost in the primary in 2016. Didn't work for Bernie, who lost in the primary in 2020. And it did work for Biden, who won in 2020, right? So like, it's these people that they don't have the best interest of winning elections or helping the party in mind. It's always just they're uber ultra populist / progressive and they just want to see their particular agenda pushed. And if it's not, then they're unplugged and they are disinterested from political conversation, period.
You saw how that worked out for Kamala in the election. We're like, oh yeah, we're going to get neocons on stage with us, like fucking Liz Cheney. Wasn't this going to go great for us? And of course, it was a disaster for them, a total disaster for them. This is what I mean, dude. They're pathetic. They're losers to their core. Their whole strategy is to just what they think is going to happen, not without good reason on some level, because just the history of the 2 years after the initial presidency. They're just waiting. They're just waiting for Trump.
Like people will say that they're losers. It didn't work for Kamala. You know what it worked for? You know what Kamala did in Vermont? Kamala outperformed Bernie Sanders in his fucking home state. Kamala got a higher share of the vote. Harris plus 32%, Sanders plus 31%. Like she outperformed Bernie in his own fucking state. Okay, so get the fuck out of here with we just need to copy Bernie's rhetoric, even though he's lost all the primaries and is relatively politically ineffective as a politician. He's got good aura, I agree. He's got good stage presence, but that's about it. We don't need to be taking policy notes from somebody who is nationally an electoral loser when it comes to the presidency, and when the messaging from the progressives has been a loser electorally time and time again.
Or in the administration to, do something to make the public sour on them and then cash in the next set of midterm elections. That's their whole bit, to just play pussy, get fucked. And then hopefully by the time 2 years comes around, everyone in their estimation will just be so sick of the other side that they'll just pick them right up. They have no competing vision. They have no competing strategy. They have no fucking courage. They're just diet Republicans.
See, like, again, it's do you really think, I know there's like the word that like you fucking Bernie dick sucks like to use against me now. Do you really think standard neoliberal candidates can win in the current political climate, environment, especially with MAGA controlling social media? You know who can't win? Bernie Sanders. You know how we know that? Because we've seen it over and over and over again. So whatever doesn't work, maybe whatever stuff that Biden won on and that Kamala lost by a point on, maybe that can't work. But you know what definitely doesn't work is Bernie's messaging. We know that for sure doesn't work. So however much you think that, oh, do you think the standard messaging can work? Maybe, maybe not. But however much you think that can't work, Bernie's doubly can't work. So
that's it. That's all they are. And it's like, this is an alternative version of how things should be. This is you're going to argue for a different way in which we could approach these issues, and you're going to argue the merits of it, or you're just going to agree to the framing of your political adversaries' worldview and then just kind of slightly tweak it. Who the fuck is that for? Who the fuck is that for? Again, I'm not asking anyone to agree. I'm simply saying, dude, if you're right wing, how do you not look at the political adversaries, the major party, and fucking not laugh at these idiots? And then at the State of the Union, did you see him holding up those cards? You know, they're holding up the card, like, they're just holding up the cards, like Musk, I'm down with Musk, or no to, whatever. Looked like you were doing fucking a silent auction for something.
That's true. That was cucked, but Bernie didn't do anything either, to be fair.
And then the response was like, well, Reagan would never have done this. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. They're pathetic. They are losers to the fucking bone. To the bone. Cowards to the bone. I would rather them put a different competing vision that they could argue for, that they would believe in. Again, something like what Bernie does, right? And then if they lose, they lose. But that's not what they do. They're diet Republicans. That's what they are. And that's why they're fucking losers. Because the right wing only wants their own party. Why the fuck do they want a diet version of it? And I don't want a diet version of it. So who is that for? Who is that for? Loser.
How do you account for how progressive ballot measures often win in red states, such as minimum wage, weed, etc., or AOC's electoral success? I'm not even answering your question because it's so fucking retarded. Progressive ballot measures like weed? Get the fuck out of here, dipshit.
Losers. Coward, pathetic losers. They have absolutely lost my confidence. I didn't have much to begin with. Let's be very clear about that. But to the extent I had any, they have extinguished it. They are a pathetic, gerontocratic party of do-nothing losers. And that is why they are in the state that they are in. That is why their political adversaries control everything. Because they're fucking losers.
Like, this guy is like fully fucking swallowed gallons of the conservative propaganda. Like, do nothing losers. Like, that's the definition of the Republican Party. They do nothing. Trump is ruled exclusively by executive fiat. He can't do anything in Congress. He had no major legislative victories besides the tax cuts, which increased the deficit during his administration. His handling of COVID was fucking horrible. He's botched every promise that he came into office promising. He's botched so far. He's made empty threats towards Hamas that they didn't respect. We've yo-yoed back and forth on these tariffs over and over and over again. We've seen weaponization of the DOJ and the federal government like we've never fucking seen in all of history. This motherfucker's been on TV every single day. Still nothing. No comprehensive immigration reform. No closer to solving Ukraine, Russia. Losing favor with every single world leader. But somehow the do-nothing Democrats, like, what do they need to do? Like, just say that you need like a clown or somebody who's like got an even oranger face to come out and dance for you because that's what makes you happy and giggle.
Sydney says, do you think a young lady considering joining the military should have any concerns based on their gender? Look at me very, very, very closely and carefully. Yes is the answer. I would never let my daughter join the Marine Corps. I mean, ultimately, I cannot stop her. It is her choice. And if she really wanted to join, I would encourage her to join the officer ranks versus the enlisted. There are better ways to do that. Your gender absolutely matters to how your career will go and how you will be viewed and what could happen to you in the military. 1000%. If I were you, I would take that into strong consideration, both in terms of what branch you join and what MOS you ultimately select. Aussie says, have you ever asked for an autograph?
What did that mean? What?
Asked for memory relay from anyone you met? No, I've never asked for an autograph in my whole life. Please no boss. Got any movies or TV shows that you want to cross off?
Unlike Biden, who codified Roe v. Wade. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, that didn't happen. Oh, yeah. I forgot that Biden could pass legislation on his own. True. You got me, dude. Based. Nice. Good job, man. You fucking owned that one. Ownage, absolute carnage, dude. You fucking dominated that point. That was a sick argument. Oh shit, you just fucking destroyed my whole argument with that. Good one.